Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, got a whole bunch of news to go over on this video, but be on the lookout later on, probably this evening sometime. I have a pretty cool review video that I'm going to be doing, two things in the same video, and it's something that I think that a lot of apartment dwellers especially are going to be interested in. But let's go ahead and cover the news today. The first story that I have to go over with you all should really make your blood boil. And I don't want to start your day off by making your blood boil, but this is one of the reasons, ladies and gentlemen, why I believe that the United States as a whole is in decline, because of the decisions that our government elected officials are making on our behalf. That's really not for our good. Don't make this about Ukraine. Don't make this about any other country than the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen. All right, what I'm saying here is that it doesn't matter what country we are providing aid to during one of our government shutdowns. The reason our government is shutting down is because we have no money. We are broke. We are bankrupt. But even in the state of bankruptcy that the United States of America is in, the government still sees it fit to ship money, our taxpayer dollars, overseas when we ourselves here are shutting down. Why? Because we have no money. We live in opposite world, ladies and gentlemen, and what we have become, in my opinion, the government that is, not we the people, but what we have become is an oxymoron. The U.S. government is paying the salaries of 57,000 civic service personnel in Ukraine. At the moment, GOP congressional leaders are intensely debating whether to move forward with a proposed defense budget that includes Biden's push for $24 billion more in military assistance. Why are they even, let me see, what are they saying? Intensely debating. It should just be, can we afford it? No, we can't afford it, so why are we doing it? It's the same thing as you running a household, ladies and gentlemen. It's the ins and the outs. Do we have enough in? Do we have enough money coming in to be able to support the things that we want to push out, the things that we want to get? It's either yes or no. But it's very easy, ladies and gentlemen, for government to go ahead and spend all this money. Why? Because they don't produce anything. The people that produce it are their constituents. And as long as their constituents keep putting up with it, as long as we the people keep putting up with becoming poorer and poorer year after year, having our money stolen through us, through inflation, they'll keep doing it. There will come a time where we live in a two-class society, which has been the plan for a very long time, and the people will eventually revolt. But we still have a lot of pain to go through before we get there. So get prepared. That's what it's all about. American taxpayers are financing more than just weapons. We discovered the U.S. government's buying seeds, fertilizer for farmers. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I believe in being a good neighbor. But how in the world can you be a good neighbor when your house is on fire? How? Well, I guess all we have to do is continue watching the show and we'll see how. All right, they're also covering, as stated before, the salaries of about 57,000 personnel. And here this gentleman says, this Mr. Rugg says, yes, your tax dollars will be used to fund the Ukrainian salaries while American citizens are forced to wait for their pay while the government remains closed. And he says here, your government hates you and loves war. And that is a very hard thing to go ahead and contest, that statement right there, ladies and gentlemen. Because look at how many wars we've been in just in your lifetime. Doesn't matter how old you are. You could be 20, you could be 30, 50, you can be 100. Look at how many wars we've been in and how detrimental they've been to us. Not just at the cost of the blood that has been spilled, but at the cost of our sovereignty and our children's sovereignty going forward. And I made a note of this because it really doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. You should be going, what in the world, no matter what your political ideology is. This gentleman, I believe it's a gentleman, says, if the government shuts down, the U.S. is set to continue paying the salaries of thousands of Ukrainians, something that is very likely to rile up a number of Republicans. Does it really matter if you're a Republican, a Democrat, a Libertarian, a Green Party, a whatever it is? Does it really matter for you to be riled up because of this news? Pretty much the government saying, yes, we care more about these people over here than we care about the people that elected us to serve them. Does it really matter, ladies and gentlemen? That is the mindset that we have to get away from. We have to wake up to the fact that we, Americans, we are all in this together. The decline, ladies and gentlemen, will continue as the BRICS continues its plans to ditch the US dollar. It is just a matter of time. And as more and more countries join the BRICS, ladies and gentlemen, the weaker and weaker that our dollar will get. But AP, the dollar is going up in value. The Dixie is going up. Is it really going up, ladies and gentlemen, against your purchasing power? That's what I'm getting at. A lot of people take a look at the Dixie, and the Dixie is the value of the dollar as compared to some other currencies around the world. But is it going up, really? Is your purchasing power going up as the dollar becomes stronger against other currencies? That's where it really matters, is how much purchasing power do you have. And the more BRICS countries get together and stop using the dollar internationally, the worse that is going to get for the purchasing power of your dollar here in the United States or wherever you may hold dollars, really. The BRICS nations are continuing with their plan to ensure that the United States dollar fails. As BRICS grows, the US dollar empire wanes. The dollar's relevance also falters. If BRICS is successful, it will ensure an economic collapse in the West. That's why you have to prepare. Venezuelan Foreign Minister Ivan Gil Pinto foresees that BRICS expansion will unite major energy producers and consumers, offering a pathway toward reducing the dependence on the US dollar in global trade. And ladies and gentlemen, even though we still will have the reserve currency of the world, doesn't mean that the dollar won't be devalued. You can have both. You can have a reserve currency of the world that is devalued against other currencies. But more importantly, again, what I'm getting at is that this will ensure that the value of the dollars that you hold, ladies and gentlemen, not that's on the Dixie, not that's against other nations. No, that the value of the dollar that you hold, that you worked for, that you saved, will for sure be devalued less and less over the years, because the government will only have one decision to make in the end. It will have one decision to make, and that's whether to print or not print. And governments always print. That is why governments love fiat currency, because they can print as much what they call money out of thin air as they want, whenever they want to, without your vote. Now let's take a quick look and visualize the BRICS expansion in these 4 charts that were sent to me by one of our community members. So thank you very much for sending this to me. But take a look at this. This right here is the BRICS as it's going to look on the 1st of January 2024 after those 6 countries were added to it during the BRICS summit here, I don't know, a month ago or so. So once those countries enter into the BRICS on the 1st of January 2024, they're going to equal to almost 30% of the world GDP. Almost half, ladies and gentlemen, population of the world. Now, what you have to remember is that half of the population of the world, which is this 46%, roughly half, right? They represent mostly third world nations. Nations that are up and coming into the middle class, whereas we here in the Western nations, our middle class is faltering and waning. Right? So that means that their GDP will go higher eventually past 29%. And that's just 11 nations. Remember that. All right. Oil production, they produce 43% of the world's oil, and they export about 25% of all of the export, with China being the biggest exporter in the BRICS nations with about 14% of the exports. So what do you think is going to happen when we have another 100 countries join the BRICS? Because they themselves are also tired of the dominance of the US dollar and how it is used against them. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a different world. And as I've stated in the past, it's going to make the Western nations into third world countries. And that, in my opinion, is their plan. Another big one, share of oil production. The BRICS total, 43%, ladies and gentlemen, which is about 40 million barrels a day. 43% of daily production. The rest of the world, 57%. What's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, is that eventually all of the BRICS are either going to come up with a common BRICS currency, one, Or they won't come up with a common BRICS currency, but they will all do bilateral trading, meaning that they will trade with each other using their local currencies and not the dollar. When that happens, it doesn't matter. The dollar's done. Okay, so that's what you have to prepare for. Because when that happens, the dollar will be done. Now, let me take a quick minute, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure if you know, but Oupes came out with a new solar generator, the Oupes Mega 3, which is somewhat like the Mega 5, but not really. It has some features that the Mega 5 doesn't. Right now, go check it out. They have a great sale going on, which is 30% off the original price. But on top of that 30% off, you can knock off another 10% if you use my code. So if you're interested in solar generators, go check out the Oupes. It's my favorite solar generator brand. And they also have sales going on with their regular models as well. That's not the Mega 5 or the Mega 3. For those, they're only offering 5% off, and I have that code down below as well. Go check them out, ladies and gentlemen. If you are in the market for a solar generator, take a look at the link that I'm going to go ahead and leave on a pinned comment and also in the description of this video. Stay prepared, because the U.S. rulers cannot stop pushing for a war. They need a war. All right? They need a war, ladies and gentlemen, because then they can have something to blame it on instead of their own incompetence. So get prepared and stay prepared. Now here, Mr. Jim Rickards is talking about how a digital money system is not only coming, but it's already here. He says it's not coming, it's already here. And when I talk about the war on cash and cashless society, some people think I'm exaggerating the threat, or they don't take it seriously. Here he says, I'm not exaggerating, the threat is here, and it's growing, and it's only going to get worse. You're being herded into what is called a digital cattle pen from which there is no escape. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a CBDC. You think that people getting their accounts shut off now is a big deal? You just wait until they push us into a CBDC. And it will be the people that ask for it. You just wait and see. I hate that I'm right about this, but I am. I am right about this CBDC. If and when we get a CBDC, and I'm hoping I'm 100% wrong, but I'm right about this. If and when we get a CBDC, ladies and gentlemen, it will be the people that ask for it, because there will be a crisis pushed onto the people that will put the people in such destitute that the government will come and say, hey, we can fix it if, and the people will say, fix it, stop the pain. But they just don't understand the amount of pain that they're going to go through for the next several years, if not decades. Take a look at all of the pain that we are going through now because of all of the inflation that was produced in the last 2-3 years. Now go ahead and multiply that times 10 or 100 or even worse. And he says, ladies and gentlemen, that the fact is, and it is a fact, the government always uses these excuses, money laundering, drug dealing, to keep tabs on honest citizens and deprive them of the ability to use money alternatives such as physical cash, gold, and these days as well, cryptocurrencies. So in other ways, the government wants to and needs to have a monopoly on money. If they do not control money 100%, then they will lose the power and the people will regain the power. Why do you think that they hate gold and silver? That's why, because with gold and silver as the money of the people, then the government doesn't have the power. But with fiat currency as the money of the people, the government has all the power, because they need money in order to operate. And as long as they have fiat, then they don't need your permission. Once that is achieved, he says, and he's talking about CBDCs, it will be easy for the state power to seize and freeze the wealth, or subject it to constant surveillance, taxation, and other forms of digital confiscation like negative interest rate, i.e. programming your money to slowly disappear as time goes by, making you spend it when you need to spend it before you lose it. Or else you just lose it, and all the labor that you did in order to earn that money is gone. All right. Once all the money is digital, you won't have the option of withdrawing your cash and avoiding negative interest rates. You will be trapped in a digital pen with no way out. Ladies and gentlemen, I keep thinking about how the dictators of the past are now rolling in their graves saying, why did we not have this technology when we were here ruling the world? Right? Like the little man with the mustache, or Mussolini, or Lenin, or Mao. All these people would have loved to have had this technology now. Imagine what they would have done with it. And that is why I keep saying, you have to be prepared. You know why, ladies and gentlemen? Because it allows you to practice your no muscle. It allows you to resist without having to suffer. Remember when I said that the government is going to create a crisis where it's going to put people in destitute? Imagine if the United States, all families were prepared for a year. Imagine that. They can say, no, we don't want to do it. Thank you. But, oh, you want to shut down? Go ahead and shut down. We got plenty of reserves. We have plenty to make it through. Imagine if the people had 2 months, 3 months worth of supplies, worth of sustenance, worth of emergency funding, worth of gas for their cars, worth of fuel for their houses. Do you think that we can outlast the government? I think we can, right? Because it's turned into a fight, ladies and gentlemen, between good and between evil. That is what we're fighting now. It's a war between good and evil. And we the people, I believe in my heart, are the good. There may be some misguided few, but we are the good. And government, in the long run, always turns evil. Why? Because power is very addictive. And just take a look at what's going on in Washington. Right? Just take a look at what's going on in Washington. Tell me that power is not addictive when you have people there that have been there 30, 40, 50 years. And nothing has changed except for their bank accounts. This movie is very well worth watching, ladies and gentlemen. The Epoch Times documentary titled No Farmers, No Food. Will You Eat the Bugs? Exposes a master plan behind the climate agenda. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're not subscribed to the Epoch Times, it's like nothing. It's like $1 a month. I think right now, and I'm not affiliated with them in any way, all right? But I get a lot of my news from them. It's like 25 cents a week, $1 a month for like the first year. You know, that in my opinion is worth it. Go ahead and subscribe to these. Take a look at this movie. It's awesome. I do believe that they have this movie out on YouTube. And if they do, I'll try to leave it in the link. But if they don't, just come to the Epoch Times. I'll leave this link as well so you can check out that movie. It's worth the 25 cents, ladies and gentlemen, or the $1, whatever it is that they charge per month. Now, before I talk about this, I have to say that I'm not a medical professional. I'm not advising you in any way on what to do, on what to take, or anything like that. But it says here that demand soars for Nobel Prize nominated Dr. Z Flute formula. Just in time for the season, ladies and gentlemen. This is the season for you to start thinking about protecting yourself and protecting your health. Now, I don't know about this formula, but I just happened to come across this article here. It is a sponsored content on Zero Hedge. So this gentleman here is trying to market this right here. And go take a look at it if you like. But this has elderberry, vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, and whatever this is called, quercetin. Right? I'm not saying it's good or bad, but go check it out because it's best for you to protect your immune system. Now, in my opinion, I'm not a doctor or medical professional. It is important for you to protect your immune system now without having to go to the doctor to get some kind of a prescription or whatever. But ladies and gentlemen, if you don't want to go through the trouble of getting this, I want to show you something. Yes, I am going to go ahead and plug in Immune Boost. This is from Nutrient Survival, the very best freeze-dried food company that exists, purely because their food tastes great, the people are great, and all of their foods have everything that you need. Again, do your own research. All right, I'm not making any claims, but this I can tell you for a fact. I've been doing a video a day here, I don't know, for about the last 2 or 3 years. There's very few times in the last 2 or 3 years where I haven't put up a video a day. I know I took a mental health break here about 6 months or so ago, but that had nothing to do with my physical health. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you that have been following me know that I love this stuff and I stick by this stuff. I take this almost every single day. I don't have to take it every day anymore because my body is saturated with all of these nutrients. And have you seen me take any sick days? Even a few years back, and this is a testimonial that I'm happy to provide to you, ladies and gentlemen, and talk to you about. Even a few years back when that thing was going around, because it was a thing and it was going around, it's just in my opinion, it wasn't as bad as it was being touted to be. And now when you take a look at the research, it wasn't as bad as it was being touted to be. The medicine that was being given for it, in my opinion, was a lot worse than the actual, cold itself, let's say, all right? But you've never seen me take a sick day. Why? Because I just don't get sick. And when I do get sick, I get over it really quick. Well, I got that little thing, that little bug, a couple of years, 2 or 3 years back. And you know what I did? This is what I took. About every 4 hours, I would take one of these. And 2 days later, I was good to go. Am I saying that this is the cure-all, be-all? Absolutely not, but it works for me. Give it a try, because this is all natural. This is made by a great company that has a great reputation. And ladies and gentlemen, for me, it works, and it always has. So give Nutrient Survival a try. Check the link in the description of my videos. It's always there, and there's always a code for 10% off. And you're not going to be able to deal with a better company than Nutrient Survival. Let me tell you that, ladies and gentlemen. As far as the people and as far as their products, you just won't find anything better. Now, let's get back to the rest of this video. I really like this story because I'm always talking about your Kung Fu. What is your Kung Fu, ladies and gentlemen? What is it that you love to do that brings value to this world? Well, this prepper mom here has liberated herself and her family by growing food. And not only that, she's been able to put away a whole bunch of food to feed her family for a year by doing something that she loves, and that is her Kung Fu. And this here says, prepping is the most liberating thing, she says. Prepper mom grows 900 pounds of food that will last a year. And I'm not going to go over this article. Look at how beautiful the veggies are. Look at these avocados. I love the avocados. But take a look at, I just wanted to show you some of the veggies here that she's got. This, ladies and gentlemen, is beautiful, right? Even though I don't really eat this stuff anymore, but it's beautiful. And anyone here that gardens can tell that that is some beautiful stuff. But the question is, what is your Kung Fu? What can you do to bring value to your life and the life of other people around you? Everyone has a Kung Fu. Go out there and do it, and find a way that you can incorporate your Kung Fu, ladies and gentlemen, into getting prepared and getting your family in a position that when we do go to a crisis, you don't have to worry about where your food is coming from, because you've already got it. Now, I believe we have one more and one last thing to go over. And this, ladies and gentlemen, I will definitely be leaving the link for, because this is very important. 15-minute cities are making their rounds, and people are waking up to this, and I think that's great. Now, this is a council meeting, I believe, in Aurora, Ontario, in Canada, about 15-minute cities, and I was very pleasantly surprised that the people in the board actually were receptive to the person that was talking about 15-minute cities and how they're being used in order to imprison the people within them. Go take a look at this video. I'll go ahead and leave the link to this article here on a pinned comment, which also has the video, which is only like 6 or 7 minutes long, or 8 minutes long. It's 8 minutes long. So you can go take a look at it. People are waking up. We just have to keep the pressure. We have to keep the faith, ladies and gentlemen. Continue to prepare. Continue to stay prepared. I hope you got something out of this. Again, later on today, I will be doing a video on a very short review, really, on something that I believe that everyone who's an apartment dweller and hates gases in their homes, like butane or propane, will really like to have. Other than that, have a great rest of your day. God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.